A vaccine to prevent autism would completely confuse anti-vaxxers. Let's be honest, a piece of paper with "please turn over" on both sides would completely confuse anti-vaxxers. What the heck is poopin' H2Os and roller bros alike? I'm your guide Q. Welcome to r/murderedbywords. I cannot believe we have not covered this subreddit before. We're gonna watch some people get wrecked in absolute epic fashion. It's going to be fantastic. Let's just hop right into the cringe. I also changed my microphone setup. I have a pop filter now. I changed some equalization settings and stuff like that. So hopefully it sounds better. Let me know what you think. 101-year-old veteran says cold Coors Light is the secret to a long life. Sam Adams Beer replies, "Everyone already knows water is good for you, LMFAO. Ooh." Full disclosure, I actually really like Coors Light because 1, it's cheap, 2, it's refreshing, and 3, it doesn't make me feel bloated. Feel free to roast me in the comments. Yesterday, when I was at the store with my 16-month-old, the guy in front of me was checking out and says, "Wow, she is so cognitive. I bet she's 2.5 years old." I say, "No, she's 16 months old." His response, "Well, she's very advanced for her age." Me again, "Nope, she's just not vaccinated." Yeah, you gotta learn to grow up quickly when you only have 3 years to live. You know you've gotten wrecked when you get owned by somebody whose Reddit username is Furry Prawn Account. Also, I'll bet my YouTube channel that this did not happen. Who goes up to somebody and is like, "Wow, your child is so cognitive." If somebody called my child cognitive, I'd be like, "Are you trying to do experiments on my kids? Stay away from me and my child. I'm calling the police." Quite frankly, any man over the age of 21 who's still playing video games is a lazy child who should get a second job, and women should avoid them like the plague. Sorry, I can't hear you over the sound of my McLaren. Thanks, gaming. Sincerely, a 22-year-old man-child. I mean, as much as I personally hate flexing, this is the perfect retort to that comment. Can I get another 100 donors from Twitter tonight? We must defeat socialism. Contribute 35, 11, or just $2. Cash.me/moneyrandpaul. If everyone contributes a small amount of their income, we can pool all of the resources together to defeat socialism. You're the most famous guest we've ever had on. That's a terrible Jeremy Clarkson impression, forgive me. This must be a terrible show then. I don't do accents, I don't know why I chose to do it in this scenario, but let's just run with it. This is an absolutely beautifully done job by Patrick Stewart here, because he not only releases that awkward tension of receiving a compliment, but he also just comes off as super humble and awesome, and I just love Patrick Stewart so much. Warning, this one is kind of sad, but not for the reason you might think. My girlfriend Marissa, a week before our car accident in October, I loved you every day, and now I will miss you every day. Do not believe any of this guy's BS. He forgot to mention that he was the one driving the car. He forgot to mention that he sent texts to one of my friends 2 days before their accident, claiming he wanted to end his own life in a car accident, but wanted her to be in the car so he could end both their lives. He forgot to mention that he got her addicted to heroin and not only ruined her life, but ended her life as well. And to top it all off, he is now using her image to karma whore. He was a coercive, controlling boyfriend who Marissa feared and made several frantic calls to my friend because his behavior was so irrationally violent a couple days before she died. You are a massive piece of shit to be doing this. You also forgot to mention that you were hiding right now in Israel because the police are investigating this thing. No wonder you couldn't stay sober, you psychopath. I guess all I can say is I hope the thousands of upvotes you got and hundreds of comments giving you sympathy makes you feel a little bit better when you're laying awake at night thinking about what you did. Jesus made conservative women attractive so we would be attracted. He also made liberal women ugly so we would stay away. I like that the best response to this is just an image of your face. Yes, because Jesus assigns us our political beliefs at birth and makes sure that he attaches them directly to our looks. And normally, I wouldn't be all about crapping on somebody for the way they look, but you're the one that brought looks up, so you were totally fair game to get roasted here. Are you an SAT? Because I'd do you for 3 hours and 45 minutes with only a water break. I'm more like a driver's test. Your enthusiasm to take me is adorable, but you're most likely 16 and don't know what you're doing. Yeah, you might want to take some of that water and pour it on your aggressive burns, and then by all means, please drink some water because you seem extremely dehydrated. Don't know who's more stupid, people who think the earth is flat or people who refuse to vaccinate their kids and risk their children's health because they believe it causes autism. How stupid was I then that I vaccinated and caused problems that killed my daughter? Where on the stupidity scale would you put me? Out of 10, considering your daughter was 34 years old and died of an asthma attack from the asthma that runs in your family. You know, I could totally see someone making the argument that this roast is in poor taste. You know, somebody's lost their child. It's probably one of the worst things that can happen to you. However, spreading misinformation about your child dying as a result of being vaccinated when they died from something that runs in your family is extremely irresponsible and could actually lead to the death of more children. So even though I'm not sure if making a joke was the best way to get this message across, I still side with the person that made the joke over the person that's trying to spread this anti-vax message. Religious organization wants Marvel to apologize for controversial scene in Uncanny X-Men number 5. If Marvel has to apologize for their fictional material, then the church does too. At least Marvel pays taxes. Is this supposed to be Jesus? Are they thinking that this is Jesus? I mean, I can see some resemblance, but does anybody even know what Jesus actually looked like? You can't call people out for this. Black people can't be racist. We can be prejudiced to other races, but not racist. Read a book. Prejudice based on race is literally what racism is. Black people can't drink juice. We can consume the natural liquids extracted from fruits and vegetables, but we can't drink juice. That's how you sound. The definition of racism: prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on belief that that one's own race is superior. I didn't have to read a book, but I could have read the dictionary and found out this information. Also, I can't wait for someone to take me out of context saying black people can't drink juice and say that I'm canceled on Twitter. Y'all hate 6ix9ine because some weirdo on Twitter told you to. Or because 1, he's a sex offender, 2, he's not black and he uses the N-word, and 3, his music is ass. I appreciate Xander here, but he totally could have, just included number 1. I mean, number 2 is also kind of valid, but 3 is, completely irrelevant. We blindfolded 15 homophobes and asked them to hit piñatas with a stick. The piñatas were actually deadly Asian giant hornets' nests. What happens next will warm your heart. This is disgusting bigotry against Christians at its finest. I love the part where this post never mentioned Christians, but you saw the word homophobe and jumped to your own defense anyways. I feel like it's reasonable to assume that IE Loves Jesus thinks that all good Christians should also be homophobes if they were able to make this connection. How do I teach my 16-year-old daughter not to cry when I yell at her for doing something wrong? Don't worry about that. Eventually, she'll stop crying on her own. She'll look at you with deadened eyes, finally numb to the pain. She'll ask herself why she ever cared about your opinion. She'll wonder why she ever wanted to please you and make you proud. And she'll move on. She'll leave you out of her life in favor of those she believes show her respect and believe in her value. Every time you yell at her, you might as well be slapping her across the face. Right now, she assumes the fault is hers. One day, she'll realize the fault is yours for not being patient and providing loving guidance when she screws up. And she won't cry when you yell at her anymore because she no longer gives a damn about you. Is that what you want? This one is in my opinion. I think it's sort of hit or miss. The biggest mistake that the person that answered this question makes, in my opinion, is when she says, or they say, every time you yell at her, you might as well be slapping her across the face. Now, when I would make big mistakes or antagonize my parents in some way, I would get yelled at, and although it wasn't the ideal thing to happen, obviously I didn't enjoy it, I would have much rather had them yell at me than slap me across the face every single time I did some big thing wrong. And that's not to say that verbal abuse isn't still abuse, but it's just not a good equivalency to make, in my opinion, and also not all yelling is verbal abuse. And yes, I do think that this mother should think of more tactful ways to call out her daughter on things that she's doing wrong, but I have known a lot of people that when they're called out in any way, they will start crying, and that's just not a good way to live your life. I mean, once somebody starts crying, it's really hard to continue to, push them on what you want them to do or what you think they're doing wrong as a parent specifically. But let me know what you guys think. I mean, do you think that yelling is an equivalent to hitting someone? Do you think that yelling is inherently abuse? Just let me know what you think about this response and the question itself. Hey, if you want to come watch some cringy stuff with me live, I'm going to be streaming tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. Twitch.tv/YourQ is the place that you can find me. Links to that will be in the description and the comments down below. Also in the description will be all the Amazon affiliate links to my equipment, including my pop filter that I just got. Audiophiles out there, please let me know how this sounds in comparison to my other videos. I know a lot of people were complaining about me needing a pop filter, so I finally got one, and I hope that the way that I tweaked the settings made it sound better today, but let me know if I need more improvement, obviously. Follow on Twitter and all that stuff. I will see you very soon. Have a great evening. I hope you skate on to the best of your abilities and drink some more water. I'm like forgetting my outro. What is wrong with me? Have a sando day, and I'll see you soon.